Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Unboxed. Today's question is, how do I tell my husband I don't trust him with the money? We started this yesterday. Let's unbox the rest of this answer today. I'm Dr. Robert Davis, family life educator and relationship coach, and welcome to Unboxed, a frank and straightforward conversation about relationships. We're going to talk about family, church, workplace, and all other types of relationships. Join me for the next few moments as we unbox the power and potential of relationships and help you to live your best life. Hey everyone, welcome to Unboxed. I'm your host, Dr. Robert Davis. So glad that you've joined us this evening. I'm going to ask you to please like, subscribe, and share. Like, subscribe, and share. And then also look in the description and you'll see a series of links on how you can partner with and support the work of Unboxed, as well as learn more about what we do. If you have a question that you would like for us to answer live on our live streaming, please make sure to email it to us. The email is on your screen, or you can direct message us, or you can visit our website and we have a way for you to submit it there. All right, yesterday we had a question that came in from Paula, and Paula asked, how do I tell my husband that I don't trust him to be in complete control over the finances because I feel I'm better with making financial decisions? I'm concerned about making him feel like I don't respect him as the man of the house. And so yesterday we talked, and I'm just going to do a recap very quickly. Yesterday we talked about be clear about your emotions as you prepare to have this conversation with your husband. Be clear about your emotions. And the second thing we said was decide what you want to tell him. The third thing is decide how you want to tell him. So decide, number two is decide what you want to tell him. Number three, decide how you want to tell him. And then number four, you have to tell him. And one of the challenges, and this is what I'm listening to as I hear questions like this, I hear this thing known as the over-functioning, under-functioning reciprocity, where in all relationships, when one individual begins to overfunction, begins to do more than's necessary, to take on more responsibility than they should, and they're doing less about taking care of themselves and more about trying to manage the other person and manage various aspects of the relationship, this is called the overfunctioning, underfunctioning. Again, when one person overfunctions, the other person underfunctions. And when one person underfunctions, the other person overfunctions. I don't know which comes first, the chicken or the egg, but it is a reciprocity that takes place in relationships. So of course, the million-dollar question is, how do I get out of this vicious cycle? Because, of course, when it comes to money, I'm concerned, I'm afraid, I'm anxious about my husband managing the money, because if he mismanages the money, then we're going to be in the poorhouse. We're going to be living in our car. We're going to be out in the streets, cold, snow, the summer's coming, and I'm not going to have anybody take a shower. I'm going to lose my job because I'm coming stinking. The sky's going to fall. The world's going to come to an end. You kind of get an idea of how that looks. So let me help you for a moment to take a deep breath and to step out of that overfunctioning, underfunctioning reciprocity and to move into a space where you can become calm. Wow. So the first thing is I have a phenomenal book I want to recommend to you. It's called Uproar. I almost got the subtitle mixed up. I'm sorry. The book is called Uproar: Calm Leadership in Anxious Times. Now, this book is written for leaders in churches and in businesses, etc. But it's also phenomenal for just how to manage yourself, even in family relationships. This book is by Peter Stanke. It's called Uproar. The name of the book is Uproar: Calm Leadership in Anxious Times. Okay, the real question is, how do we empower others? Talking about getting out of this cycle. How do we empower others so that we are responsible for ourselves and we allow them to be responsible for themselves? How do we get out of that cycle? How do we get out of the cycle? And so what I hear in your question, of course, as I just shared, is classic anxiety, which has led you to overfunctioning. I don't want to mess up. I don't want to be poor. I don't want all the money to be blown. So the question becomes, how do we calm our anxiety long enough to be able to think through the strategy to empower the spouse? So I get this now. I want to empower my spouse. I'm dealing with the anxiety. I'm starting to overfunction. Everything is, kind of going out of control in my life. How do I get calm long enough to begin to think about a strategy on how I partner with my spouse, to think through a strategy on how I empower my spouse in order to do their part. And so that it's no longer me over functioning and them under functioning. We're working as a team now. All right. Here are 3 very quick suggestions, and then I'm going to let you go. And the first one is very simple. Don't take on too much. Don't take on too much. Think about and become clear about your role and responsibility toward the family's money. What is my role and what is my responsibility? So let's think through a couple of those. I'm assuming that in this relationship, you are responsible for bringing in a portion of the money. You're responsible for bringing in a portion of the money. Now, what else? You are responsible for making wise financial decisions. You are responsible for, and you start writing. I want you to think through that so that you don't take on too much. Think about again what you are responsible for. Responsible for maintaining my source of income. Responsible for being I'm responsible for being responsible on how I spend the money. I am responsible for communicating my desires and my goals and ambitions and vision with my spouse. I am responsible for sharing my fears, my concerns, and my worries with my spouse. These are the things that I'm responsible for relative to the family budget. Once you become clear about what you're responsible for, don't take on anything else. Once you become clear and you've gone through the process of figuring out what you're responsible for, don't take on anything else. And stick with what you're responsible for so that you don't get caught back into that cycle of over-functioning and under-functioning. And he needs to think about what he's responsible for. And trust me, my friends, the sky's not going to fall. You're not going to have to live out of the back of your car. You're not going to starve. The kids are not going to end up, wearing tattered clothes and having to stand on the street corner for 10 can. Okay, that's not going to happen. So take a deep breath and calm. And let me give you a couple other tips on how you can actually take that deep breath and calm. You ready for this one? I'm about to blow your mind. It's the most revolutionary thing you've ever heard. You ready for it? Hold on to your seats. Pray. Now that's crazy, isn't it? Pray. One of the best ways to calm yourself down is to take it to the Lord in prayer. I know it sounds so cliche, but it really works. There's actually been research after research that has been done on the power of prayer in the healing of the body, the power of prayer to calm us down long enough to think through. So pray. Take it to the Lord in prayer. Are you weak and heavy laden? Are you cumbered with a load of care? Take it to the Lord in prayer. Tell him how you feel about your husband. Tell the Lord how you feel about about the finances, what your fears are, your worries. And this also helps you to begin to think through how you want to share it with your spouse as you first talk it out with God. Okay, so prayer. And I don't want to undermine it or minimize it. That is very important. The third thing I want to share. So number 1, don't take on too much. Number 2, pray. And number 3, here we go. Number 3 is practice mindfulness. Number 3, practice mindfulness. And let me talk about what that is. Some of you are not familiar with mindfulness. It's another way of saying meditation. And I know sometimes we get afraid of when we hear the word meditation if we're raised in the Christian tradition. But meditation is very simply hyper-focusing on something. So I want you to learn about mindfulness. I can't go through all of the teachings on how that works, but I want you to learn about mindfulness, about meditation, which is not contrary to biblical principles. I want you to learn about meditation, how to put yourself in a place where you can begin to think. And I want you to become mindful about your guiding principles, about the type of wife that you want to be in the relationship, how you want to interact with money. I want you to hyper focus on that and become very clear in your mind through practicing mindfulness. Just what are my guiding principles about turning over responsibilities to my spouse, trusting my spouse, managing my part in the relationship, managing, allowing them to do their part, etc. So hyper focus, mindfulness, practice mindfulness around your guiding principles. Practice mindfulness. And here's what I want you to do. While you're meditating, I want you to envision your husband being successful. I want you to envision him doing a great job. I want you to envision him actually having a significant role in the managing of the money, and your finances, instead of decreasing, your finances increasing. I want you to actually begin to visualize and to work that thing out. There are two fighters who I really admire. One of them is John Jones, and everyone who knows about John Jones are always impressed by his corner. Not the fighter, but the person in the corner. And in between rounds, his corner has a phenomenal way of calming John Jones down and really helping him to focus and imagining and seeing himself win the fight. Another one that I love is a gentleman by the name of Virgil Hunter. He is the trainer for Andre Ward. You remember Andre Ward from the movie Creed Part 2? Then he just has a way of helping Andre Ward. Andre Ward got knocked down one time by one of the hardest hitters in boxing, and he just literally talked him into the victory of that fight. But what they did was they were helping them to visualize the success. And mindfulness will help you to visualize the success in your marriage relationship. So I want to encourage you to practice mindfulness around your guiding principles, who you want to be, what you are, who you are, how you function, how you operate. Get clear. Clear your mind and get clear on who you are, what you are, how you function. And then clear your mind and envision your husband being successful. Envision you and him together as a team, working, and your finances being successful. And just calm down. Man, this world is so hectic. Calm down. This world has so much that it'll drag you and try to, work you into a frenzy. Calm down. Calm down. We just had 4 years where everybody was in an uproar. Calm down. We just went through a period, an election, where everyone was all over the place, a pandemic. There's so much going on in this world to keep you in uproar. Don't bring that stuff into your home. Calm down. And I'm not just saying that just to lecture you. I'm saying it because we can do it together. We can pray together. Let's practice mindfulness. Let's resolve that we will not take on too much. Let's calm down. One of the things that we deal with in our executive directors training is teaching successful progressive leaders how not to take on too much, how to be able to just manage self and let everyone else manage themselves. A great leader is someone who takes care of themselves, does not overfunction, overwork, and burn themselves out. They take care of themselves first and foremost. And I want to encourage you to do that as well, Paula. Listen, I'm so glad that you joined us today. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, and share. That's right. Like, subscribe, and share. And I look forward to seeing you the next time as we continue to unbox the power and the potential of every relationship. Have a great weekend.
Seasoned with Grace, Unboxed also provides healthy relationship training and leadership development for businesses, churches, and community organizations. For a free consultation to discuss your team's needs, please contact us at our website at swg-unboxed.org. That's swg-unboxed.org.